Hi, I'm Dr. Molly with Your Goals Physical Therapy. If your family is anything close to how mine is, we love to spend Houston summers near a beach, or at least near a body of water. Swimming is great, but there's something about the beach. Even though Galveston is definitely not an ideal beach, it is what we have, and so it's fun. You get to go play in the sand, build sandcastles, look for shells, play in the waves, all these fun things. And it's also fun because you can bring simple toys like balls and Frisbees and have hours of fun out in the open. As long as you're applying lots and lots of sunscreen, of course, lots and lots of water. So that's what I wanted to talk about in this video. What happens if you spend a really fun weekend playing with your kids, let's say with beach volleyball, and all of a sudden you notice that your shoulder is very angry with you, and it's not just going away in 1 or 2 days. So what do you do if you've injured your shoulder while playing beach volleyball? Let's talk about that. So first, I'm going to go over a little bit of the mechanics that happen when you're playing volleyball, especially if you're showing people how to do an overhand serve. And then we're going to talk about some do's, things you can do right now, right after you get off this video, some things that you should be avoiding, so please do not do them. And then how to get, if it's still lingering and you need a little bit extra help, how you can get help without having to delay that, okay, having to delay your healing. Okay, so first, our shoulders are amazing. They move in basically a 360 degrees, right? You can move them all the way around. The only thing is we very rarely do that. Most of my day is spent on a computer or down below my shoulder, right? I mean, for the most part. If I'm putting away dishes, maybe. If I'm hanging something up, maybe my arms are over my head. But for the most part, they spend a lot of time shoulder height and below. That's how you put your dishes away. That's how you do most things in life. And then here comes beach volleyball, which is so much fun. And it always makes you think of being back in grade school, playing with your friends. It's just a fun memory. And now you get to play it with your kids. But if you're competitive, at least even a little bit, right, with your kids, then as they get better, then you try to up your game and then try to up their, so you go back and forth, and you can think that a little simple instruction on how you're going to throw and serve again is going to take 5 or 10 minutes, and then 2 hours has passed. And so here you thought that this was going to be a short little demonstration, and then there's a lot of back and forth. You get really into the game, and then you realize, I've been playing this for a very long time. And that shoulder that was aching yesterday is very, very angry right now, and it's not going away. So what do you do? What is it that you can do right now to help with that, right? Well, whoops, I got ahead of myself. We're going to go back. We're going to talk about why it is that with that overhand serve, it now hurts. For most of us, we spend a lot of time at our desks, like I was saying, and so we get really curved forward or even slightly. And what that does is that reduces the space that is available inside of our shoulder. And so if I am not used to raising my arm, then I probably think this is pretty straight. But to do the serves and to be fancy with it, you're really cranking it, and you're probably pushing your arm way further back than, here, let me show you. So this is probably comfortable for most people, but to serve and you get really aggressive with it and you're jamming it back. But the other sad thing is that sometimes you can get it from your actual shoulder being flexible, and sometimes you get it from your back. And so you could actually have a back injury from this too. And you would think it was uncommon, but we all do silly things sometimes. And so we just don't think about how we're moving, which makes sense. Why would you be thinking about that? So again, so if you're used to being about here and this is where your flexibility is and you're really cramming it, then something is giving that's not used to giving. And so something got really stretched and something was probably jammed. And over time, the ligament that got smushed a whole lot while you were doing that got irritated. The bones were rubbing up against it, it just gets irritated. And so that's where that achy, possibly burning sensation, it could also make it harder to move your arm. So if you're dealing with any kind of weakness or it really just doesn't want to get up, all of that is part of the same thing. If you can move your arm to here and then it starts to get achy or very uncomfortable, you don't have to automatically assume that you have a tear that's going to require surgery or require a major catastrophic thing to occur. You don't automatically need a cortisone shot. You don't automatically need years and years of rehab. It really could just be slightly annoyed and it just needs time to heal. So let's talk about how to make that happen right now. You're gonna get off this video, you're gonna go do a couple of these things. 1, ice. I know everybody, especially in Houston, we seem to really like heat. We hold on to that. It's already warmed up. If it got pinched and it's irritated in that manner and it's hard to raise it up, that ligament and that muscle are already very warm. In fact, they're inflamed and they're swollen and they're agitated. So the best shot that you have for reducing some of that is an ice pack, just 10 minutes. Now, I say ice pack, it couldn't be something that you buy fancy at the store. It could be a bag of ice. It could be a bag of peas. Something cold that you just lay over. Most people don't want to have to hold it. So, if it's a bag of peas and you can drape it over and just keep it there for your comfort level and for convenience, that's the best thing. You really don't need to keep it there for very long. 10 minutes will get you a whole lot of relief if that's going to help, okay? Now, after the ice, maybe the next day, you let it calm down a little bit, start stretching the front of your chest. I know that seems weird, right? But if you stretch out right here, there can be a whole lot of relief for your shoulder. Oh, well, how do you stretch that? So I'm going to give you two choices. You can lay flat on the floor and just let your arms hang. So if I was laying on the floor, just let it hang. And if this isn't tight, then you can try being in this plane and just, if you can get your elbows to the floor, perfect. If not, place a pillow wherever you need to. So you would place the pillow back here and just let it hang. It feels wonderful. If you're not really comfortable laying on the floor for a variety of reasons, there's always the pec stretch where you put your elbow in the door frame. I have a video for that. I can attach it. So you would just use that to stretch the front of your shoulder. You don't have to be aggressive with these. In fact, I would implore you not to be aggressive. Be gentle. Go right until you feel a little bit of a pull and then let it go. Relax. Don't let it go. You're going to hold the stretch for 30 seconds to 60 seconds. But you don't want to be cranking on a shoulder that's already irritated. You just get to where you feel a pull and then hang out for 30 seconds to a minute. Repeat that as many times as you feel comfortable. You really can't overstretch it. So if you feel a little bit of relief, then let it relax for a little bit and go back to it. The other thing you can do is a lot of times when our shoulders get really achy, they don't like sleep. You either don't like laying on it, you don't like having it hang. So my suggestion is to find a pillow and basically hug it. So you really just want it to be in front of you just a little bit, just so your arm has a place to rest. You're just going to relax your shoulder, and that way when your elbow and your arm lower arm are supported, your shoulder will relax. Having it a little bit away from your body gives it the best amount of blood flow. So those would be the things that I would do immediately. Things that I would not do. Please avoid this. Don't hold your arm so stiff that you make an already irritated thing more irritated. The worst thing you can do for an overworked muscle is to keep it confined into one location. So as long as it does not make your pain level go up, doesn't get more irritated, let your arm hang and swing just as naturally as possible. I'm not talking about running, but you do want to just let your arm naturally swing, because that'll allow some blood flow, some little muscle contractions, and it helps the fluid that's been trapped in there from the big workout, from playing volleyball on the beach. All of that will kind of pump itself out. So, so those are the things that I would do immediately. Now, if you're kind of a do-it-yourself and it's still a little annoyed, then I would start strengthening your shoulder, strengthening your upper back, and stretching the front of your chest. And all of those things will help you calm down that shoulder. You could try massaging, go and get a massage, because sometimes that can actually help release a lot of things, especially if it was built up and there's a lot of muscle tension in there. Also good. I'm a big fan of massages. But let's say we're getting into like week 3 or 4, maybe even 5, and this is still lingering. You're looking for a little bit more specific information for your condition and what's happening with your shoulder, because not everybody's exactly the same and not everything works exactly the same for every person. So that's what I help people do. I help you decide, figure out what the best exercise is for you to help your shoulder heal. And I do that without having to make you wait to see an MRI, without suggesting you get a cortisone shot, and without just handing you a sheet of paper that has some very generic exercises and it's been Xeroxed 100 times. I give you specifically based on what your physical exam shows me. We give you very specialized exercises for you. I don't use a cookie cutter system for everybody. So that means that not just because you come in with a shoulder injury doesn't mean that everybody with a shoulder injury gets these exact exercises, because we're all different. We all have different goals. We all have different lifestyles. We're just all different. And so that is what I offer my clients. So if this is the type of service that you're looking for to help you get back to playing beach volleyball even better than you did the first time, then I have 2 ways for you to get a hold of me. So the first one would be a discovery visit. So a discovery visit is a 20-minute session where we just chat. We find out if we're a good fit and if I can help you get to your goal. So if your goal is to get back to volleyball, that's what we will work on. If your goal is to sleep without having pain, that is what we're going to work on. That 20-minute session is free. But there's no treatment, just to be clear. There's no treatment. We're just going to talk, make sure. I'll do a quick little screening just to make sure that I really can help you. But that we're just making sure that we're going to work together well. And obviously we get to meet in person. The other option that's a little bit more detailed. So if you've been lingering with this and you're like, dude, I have tried everything. What could it be that you can offer me that I can't just do on my own? I offer a full body diagnostic. That is a $20 charge. It's still a 20 to 30 minute session time, but I will do a little bit more in the sense of like a movement screening. So we'll be a little bit more intense and a little bit more intentional about what we're looking for so that we can show you whether or not we can or cannot help you. In both cases, if I am not the right person for you, I'm going to help you figure out who the right person is. I'm not going to just let you flounder about by yourself. The goal, no matter what, when anybody calls me, is that we help them try to navigate through this very confusing medical world, because without question, it can be very hard to figure out who the right person is to help you. And so I offer these just to make sure that I am the correct option for you. But if I'm not going to just create something and force you into my clinic. We're going to find the right person for you, because that is the best outcome for you. So I hope that you are having a great beach day during this wonderful summer.